So how do I teach? The reason this is an important question, mostly for you as someone who is interested in learning from someone else, is to understand the style of the instructor. Because if you're gonna, like for instance, right, if you're in school, you want to take a class with a professor, you're probably gonna ask a friend to took the class with the same professor and say, hey, what do you think about this professor? Is he a good professor? Because the professor plays a key role in the success of the student as well. So the same way here, as your instructor, it's very important for you to at least understand how I teach. You don't have someone to ask to say, hey, how does this instructor on Udemy teach? I mean, you can go online and see if you can find some review or whatever. But here, I'm just telling you exactly how I'm gonna go about teaching this course, and you can determine if it's gonna be good for you, if you're gonna learn a lot. So that's what this video is all about. So the first thing I do every time before I jump into coding, when I'm starting a new chapter or something new that we haven't talked about at all, there's going to be a presentation. Like, that's literally going to be slides on the screen and with a little bit of animation, and I'm gonna be explaining the concepts to you. So that's gonna be the conceptual, high level understanding of whatever it is we're gonna be coding next, because that's very important, right? It's good that you have the skills, you know how to code, you know how to do this and that. That's all great, but you also have to understand the concept. This is very important when it comes to how you're solving a problem. You really want to understand the problem as a whole, like you understand the big picture. Otherwise, if we just jump into the code, yeah, you'll get the coding skills, but there's something you're gonna lack, and it's gonna be good problem solving skills because you didn't understand the concept in the first place. And that's a big thing, right? So you really have to understand the concept first. Once you understand the concept, then everything else becomes easier. So that's what this this first presentation before any big chapter that I'm gonna introduce, it's gonna be that we're gonna go over a presentation. I'm gonna explain the concept to you so that you are well aware and understand what the concept is. And then comes the coding, right? After you understand the concept, we're gonna go into the actual code, right? We're gonna implement the concept, right? We talk about a concept, and then we go into the code and we open our IDE and we actually implement the concept. Like, you can see the concept in practice, right? And that's really, really good because you not only understand the concept, but you also have an example of it that you built yourself, right? That you can say, hey, you see this concept is whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. This is the concept, and here is an example of that concept. And that's really good for solidifying the knowledge in your head, right? Because you understand the concept and you also have the hands-on experience. And lastly, there's going to be my thoughts, right? So, I'm coding something, I'm explaining what it is. As I'm coding, there's going to be more explaining, more like code explaining, not concept, explaining what I'm doing with the code. And then, when I'm finished, before I, close the video, I'm going to explain a little bit about, what's happening right now in the real world and what's really happening with developers when they're trying to do something, or what's really going on in a specific, a discipline or in a specific aspect of software development. So that's going to be just my thoughts from my experience. So that's going to be the game plan. Again, first thing is going to be concept, because you need to understand the concept. So that's going to be presentation. And then we get into the code. So that's going to be the hands-on experience, because it's very important you understand the concept before you jump into the code. And then lastly, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on that particular subject.